Hey, Liverpool One Church, life groups. I'm so glad that you guys have taken a little bit of a time out in your week and just pressing pause on all of the craziness, and you're choosing to just gather in the format of a life-giving community that is a life group. I'm so grateful to Steve and Rach and all of the team that lead our life groups. So thank you so much for hosting and leading them so diligently and just being willing to prepare and get ready to have people in your home or meet at the building or wherever you are. Thank you so much. We had a great week in church this week, but before we talk about that, let me just say life groups. Next week, this coming Sunday actually, Aaron Cole, my friend, he's an amazing pastor of Life Church out just outside of Chicago from the United States of America, is going to be coming in for church this weekend. So he's going to be preaching at the 10 and the 12. Make sure you're here. And hey, listen, there's boss stuff happening for all the kids as well. I think there's like different characters coming. The kids are going to have an amazing time. So actually maybe start to think, who can you bring this Sunday to church as well? But getting on to our life group tonight, we launched a brand new series called Unfinished. This week in church, what we spoke about was this concept that we took from Jacob's life. And what we were basically saying is that actually God really does use imperfect people who are not the finished article, people who feel like in their faith or their relationship to God, it feels like it's maybe not where it could be and it feels a little unfinished. God uses people just like that, me and you. We explored the broad parameters of Jacob's life from the book of Genesis. Remember, Jacob was the one who was given his name as Jacob because it meant heel grabber. Because when he was born, he was reaching out trying to be first because he didn't want his brother Esau to have either the birthright or the blessing. He wanted it. And we know what that's like too sometimes. We struggle when we're second. We want to be first. And Jacob was literally demonstrating that from the jump. And then we heard about all of these times and seasons. Yet even though God had changed his name from Jacob to Israel, even whilst he was called Jacob, he was a blackmailer. He basically stole his brother's birthright for a bowl of scouse. Check that out. He'd been out hunting and he came home one day and Jacob was like, hey, I'll give you the birthright, which was so super significant in Jewish culture, if I can give you a bowl of stew, because he was so hungry and famished. I can't believe that Esau agreed to it, but I really can't believe that Jacob had schemed the whole thing. And he ended up blackmailing his brother out of his birthright. And then he ended up deceiving his father to make sure that he got the blessing. He went in, snuck into his dad's tent when he was old and his eyesight was failing. He put goat's hair on his arm so that his dad touched him and knew that he was like his brother Esau that was super hairy and Jacob wasn't. And he basically deceived his own father out of the blessing. And the point being is that when we look at Jacob's life, we find and we see that not only was he the heel grabber, he wanted to be first all the time, but he was the blackmailer and he was the deceiver as well. We find that when God had a conversation with Moses over the burning bush experience, Moses asked God a question and said, who do I tell the people that sent me? What is your name? And God responded to Moses, even though Jacob's name had changed. And he said, you tell the people that I'm the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He didn't call him Israel. He called him Jacob. And I think that that's significant because I think the moral of the story is this. God was trying to convey to Moses something that he would want us to have conveyed to today, that he's not just the God of your success, but he's also the God of your failings. Not only is he the God of Israel, which means triumphant with God, he's also the God of the Jacobs, the deceivers, the blackmailers, the one who caused trouble, the one who has maybe got an addiction problem, the one who's maybe got a habitual problem that we can't break. He's the God of ordinary, regular people just like us. And because of that, we should be happy and convinced that God wants to use you, and he wants to use you in the format of a local church. So, are you serving in any capacity at Liverpool One Church? And if you're not, hey, there's no pressure, but we would love you to get on the journey. Maybe you can start out by discussing what are the benefits that you've personally found from serving here at Liverpool One Church, because we're absolutely convinced that you're most like Jesus when you act like Jesus. What was Jesus? He was the biggest servant on the planet. And that's what we do every single time we meet and gather together. So maybe you would think about serving. So start your discussion tonight by asking, what are the benefits and the blessings that you found from those of you that serve at Liverpool One Church? See you on Sunday. Have a great night. Remember, Aaron Cole's with us, 10 and 12 this weekend.
say